Hey, it's Big Sean, Big Man Tactical here at SHOT Show 2025. Happy to be joined with Nils from Canik.
What's going on, Sean?
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Always. Here with Nils, kind of want to talk about how he got into competitive shooting. What kind of keeps you coming back for more?
So I've been shooting a lot longer than people think. I actually started back in 2002. So I've been doing this for over 22 years. And my dad came out and started shooting a local match in the Rio Salado area in Phoenix. And I came out and watched him for a couple months. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good at games. Like, is this kind of like a video game? And he's like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, I'm good at that. Let's do that. So, I mean, he got me set up with a Colt 45 Series 70 Gold Cup. Was the first gun I ever shot in competition. And my dad literally walked behind me and picked magazines up off the ground, loaded them, and put them back in my mag pouches because I missed so much. But yeah, that was kind of my introduction to competition shooting, like actually doing it. But before that, like years ago, I had seen a video that I watched on repeat all the time, done by a guy named Rob Latham. And it's called Shooter Ready, that he did with Dylan Precision, like back in the 80s or something like that. And it's a 20, 30-minute video, and it's basically him shooting at night with fog machines using tracer ammo. And it's just the coolest video. If you haven't seen it, yeah, it's called Shooter Ready with Rob Latham. So check it out. But I watched that, I'm like, man, that's awesome. And then randomly we moved to the home club of Rob Latham, which was Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah.
So kind of luck.
Well, and then it's funny too. When I first started watching shooting, I found old Rob Latham videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's how I learned to make my transitions cleaner.
Okay.
Target.
Yeah. That's been the biggest benefit for me, right? So by chance, home club of Rob Latham, right?
Mm-hmm.
Literally every single week, like Tuesday Night Steel, we'd see Rob Latham shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd bring a video camera out and I'd film Rob Latham. And Angus Hobdell was also, that's his home club. Matt Burkett, Matt McLaren, like a whole bunch of amazing, like some of the best shooters in the world I shot with every week.
Yeah.
So I learned a ton very early on and got my butt kicked for years.
Oh yeah, I remember the first time I got to shoot with Latham. Even though he's an old guy, it's like, yeah, I just got smoked by him.
Okay. He's so good.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same start that I had. I was on workers' comp and I needed something to do and get out of the house. And the guy that ran my qualification for my armed card in California was shooting an IDPA match, and he's like,
okay,
come on, come check it out.
Yeah.
As soon as I went out, it's like, oh, that looks like fun. And then the next match I jumped in, and my wife, when I first did it, it's like, yeah, go ahead and do it, knowing how competitive I am, thinking I was going to finish at the bottom and not want to do it anymore. And then I finished like top 40% of everyone, and it's like, I actually did really well. And it's like, you're going to keep doing this, aren't you?
Yeah, if you're a competitive person, like competition shooting is great because like no matter where you enter it, like you can always improve. Like nobody just picks it up and, you know, goes and wins nationals, right? Like nobody. But some people, you know, are, you know, I don't know if it's naturally talented or whatever, they're able to maybe get away with less.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I believe in, you know, natural talent or whatever. Some people say I'm talented. Some people, you know, think it's all my work ethic over the shooting for 22 years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think just being able to shoot with some of the best shooters in the world from an early age and seeing what they do and how they do it, I think that was kind of a cheat code.
Yeah, you hit that learning curve pretty early. And I mean, since more recently when I started shooting with some of those same type of shooters is when my progress has been exponential instead of, okay, a little plateau here, I'm going to stay here for like a year.
Yep.
But that is the other thing that I really love about the sport is the community.
Oh, yeah.
I can walk up to you at a range, say hi, and introduce myself, and then we can talk, and you'll give me tips and advice right away, and vice versa if someone comes up to me.
Well, I feel like I met you at a match. Was it Colorado or was it one of the local matches that we had in Phoenix?
We met at Scottsdale Gun Club.
We met at Scottsdale Gun Club. Yeah. Okay. And like you needed like an extra magazine or a holster or something like that?
Yeah. So
for one of your Caniks.
I was doing a charity thing.
Okay.
And
this is so long ago. We know each other forever.
And it was the TP9 SFX that I'm currently running now. And
so you're still using the same gun?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I had an optic on at the time. It's like, well, I can put my 2011 away for right now. Let's see what an optic feels like. And then it was funny because I was told it was a charity match to raise money for training for local law enforcement. And so I show up and I'm ready for a match. And it wasn't a match, it was a training day. So I'm there in competition kit with my jersey.
Okay.
And walk up and the guys that are training are like, So yeah, I got that information. But yeah, I called you because I needed a holster and some mags, and I remember that because I hit you up, and then 30 minutes later, you're at the gun club with, here you go.
I know, right?
And
I think you still have those magazines in the holster. You can have them, by the way. That's
well, I showed up when I changed to the Canik last year. I showed up and I still had the holster you let me use.
Yep.
And so I showed up and put that holster on. It's like, okay, I got Nils' holster. I'm going to be 10 times faster now just on that. And but yeah, no, just that, like out of nowhere, I think I talked to you 2 or 3 times prior to that, and it was like, hey man, I need some help with this. And, oh yeah, I'll be there in 30 minutes.
No, people are super like generous in the shooting community. I mean, like everything, there are bad apples everywhere, but like 99.99% of the people out here are awesome. Like you'd want to hang out with them outside of the shooting range too. So
yeah, I've gone to a nationals, a direct competitor of mine. I had a conversation. It's like, well, what's your backup gun? Well, I don't have money. I could afford one. So, well, what if a gun breaks? I'm screwed.
Right.
And so, I'll meet you at the range tomorrow. Shows up, hands me a nice, expensive Wilson Combat. If you need it, use it. If you don't need it, don't use it. If you use it, clean it. I'll see you in the lobby.
Yeah. Another example, like I was shooting limited nationals like 10 years ago, and I was shooting a 1911 style platform at the time. And I'm on the men's super squad. I'm shooting with Rob and Todd Jarrett and Travis Tomasi and Dave Savagny and Bob Vogel and like everybody, right? And I'm probably 2 or 3 stages left for the match. And I'm competitive for the win. And my thumb safety shears off the left side of my gun. Mm-hmm. On my, Matt McLaren custom 2011 pistol. I had like 80, 90,000 rounds through, right? Like it's not the gun's fault. But my thumb safety wore out and it sheared off. I have Travis Tomasi and Rob Latham and Todd Jarrett and everybody like literally offering me pieces off of their backup guns and their guns to fix my gun. And a gunsmith, Eddie Garcia, actually ended up fitting like permanently a thumb safety for me at the match, like just to get me through. So it's super generous people.
Well, yeah, I broke my 2011 in Colorado at one of those. And I borrowed another gun from someone in my squad, magazines from someone else in the squad, mag carriers from someone 2 bays over.
Yeah.
And then I think it was actually one of your buddies that brought me a holster from home so that I could run it.
Nice.
And yeah, just got it all set up that day and was able to continue the second day of shooting, which is amazing. And I mean, I've given ammo. Like I see some dude killing it on the range and it's like he's going to lose out because he ran out of ammo. It's like,
right.
I'm not doing great this weekend here. Like finish it off, man. So, but that's the thing that keeps bringing me back in is I can walk up to anyone and just, hey, how you doing? My name is,
right.
And then it's all good.
Exactly.
So, so now you're shooting for Canik.
Yes, sir.
What is it about Canik that you absolutely love?
Honestly, working with the R&D team back in Turkey, the setup that they have and the abilities that they have to kind of work with the ideas that we have in the United States and bring to fruition to some of the platforms that we've been able to develop, and working with them has been surprisingly one of the cooler aspects of this job. I get to travel around the world. I shoot guns for a living. I talk about guns for a living. But helping them, like working on the design and like figuring out how to make a better platform, I think is super cool.
That's awesome. And then I actually heard from someone out there, you guys opened a factory in the U.S.?
We did. So I toured our new facility in West Palm Beach a month and a half ago. And you might not know this, but the new Canik Mete MC9 Prime is the first pistol manufactured by Canik USA. So we're super happy to be bringing manufacturing and production into the United States.
That is awesome. I mean, Canik is such a great platform. It's really hard when I see people that look at it, right? It's like, oh, okay, it's made in Turkey. I'm not interested. It's like you're missing out on something great here. So having that made in the USA is going to be great to help get the word out with these even more.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes the discussion easier. Some people see, made in Turkey, and they're like, oh, well, it's Turkish. They don't realize that Turkey is a huge manufacturing hub for planet Earth. Like the capability that they have. Now, all companies are different, right? Just like in the US, some companies do a really good job, some companies not so much. Canik, when they sell guns, they have done very well over the years. They reinvest back into the company. They purchase better machines, better tooling, like expand capacity to improve their brand and their capabilities. We're not just
Yeah.
counting the money. So that's a cool part of it as well.
Yeah, and that's the great thing with that one is they reinvest, they build themselves, and so they can build out, put a superior product on the market, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Right.
And that's one of the things I was iffy. I won't lie when I first saw Canik, and then I shot one, and it's like, okay, now I need to buy one.
Yeah. Wow, this gun's accurate. The trigger's amazing, and it works.
Yeah. And that's one of the selling points I have at the shop that I work at is every single gun I own, I have done work to the trigger. There's not a single gun that I have that I haven't taken stone to the trigger, except my Canik. So
yeah, I still, even on my competition guns, I run the factory trigger. And I've used aftermarket trigger parts in the past, like Freedom Smith makes a really good drop-in trigger kit, like that replaces the pad. But they do some things that just from a legality standpoint, we're not going to do from the factory because it kind of skirts the edge as far as like our safety mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So from the factory, like our guns are like duty ready. Yeah. So we kind of have to work within that parameter. But like, my trigger is stock. I might put a lighter striker spring in if I'm putting a lighter recoil spring in for minor ammo. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't run a super custom Canik pistol. Right. Everyone's like, oh, you have a $2,000 like special fit for you gun, right? No, a Canik Rival S and $45 and guide rod and 2 springs, and you too could have a super custom Canik just like Nils.
Absolutely, but that's like I said, that's the great thing with it. Everything else you're gonna spend about as much as you bought the gun for to get it up to.
Sure. Well, a lot of times, I mean, you might spend $600-700 on the gun, then you need to replace the sights. Then you need to change the trigger. Mm-hmm. Then you need to fix the grip. Like all these extra things, a $700 gun turns into $1,300 really quick.
Oh yeah.
So we want to include as much value with the gun from the factory as we possibly can.
I think it is an overwhelming success, personally. But well, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for swinging by. Really appreciate you showing up.
And if you haven't already, check out Canik's line. Follow Nils if you don't already on social media, if you want to throw that out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Canik Firearms, Canik USA. My Instagram is No Skills Nils. YouTube, just Nils Jonasson. And we shoot guns, have a good time, and hopefully we'll see you guys at a match on the range somewhere.
This is Big Sean. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.